Welcome to Fireteam Chat, IGN's Destiny show. Thank you so much for joining us here in the studio. Joining me in our closet studio is Stephen Rue.
What's up?
CJ Gibson.
Throwing me off. What's up?
And Brian C-Team Malkowitz.
Yo,
and my phone is
what's
on
up?
the floor. It fell down.
It's just chaos in here.
On today's episode, Bungie has talked a little bit about Enhancement Cores and how they're going to adjust collecting that economy. They also talked about Iron Banner, the things that are changing, how you can get basically a God roll, Wise and Rebuke if you get 500 kills at negative 100 power.
I love
So
Wise and Rebuke,
that's the thing.
that's fine. That's awesome.
And we're going to revisit the RNG conversation, so feel free to shut off the show at that point. We'll give you a heads up.
We'll give you a trigger warning.
In all seriousness, we're friends. We argue like this all the
We
time.
picked Dredgen. You know, there's no more light. That's what happened. It was what set the episode off in a weird direction. But we'll figure
It's
it out.
easy to tell that I picked Vanguard and you guys picked.
Steven did
started with
Vanguard as well.
Okay,
You
that
and
makes
you and
sense.
30% of the community.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm sitting in the heel chair. Naturally, I just need to turn into Sean Finnegan now. So.
Yeah. So looking at the community stats.
Speaking of Sean Finnegan.
yeah,
and
we got
Fran.
Fran and Sean in the background.
Represent.
Rest in peace, Jose.
Rest-
We ran out of
We should have put Jose
ran
and
out of
Alfredo somewhere on there.
Yeah. Yeah, so the community widely sided with the Drifter. I believe account-wide it was 69. Nice. 0.9%.
Giggity.
And 30%. You have the stats in front of you, Brian. Why
Oh, I do. I can just put.
You
them
could
down
just
here.
scroll down
I'm just
and help
scroll
me
down
out
a little.
here.
Okay,
Read
so
them there, Brian.
account level 74.9% went with Drifter, 25.1 with Vanguard. Character level 69.9. Nice.
Wait, what does that mean? Account
I'm
and
12.
Character. What's the difference?
It's account-wide versus character-specific, I think.
Oh, okay.
Like on an account level.
I don't understand the delineation either.
That's confusing.
Probably 3 people pick all the
So
same.
account level means your entire account, and then go back. What's the next category?
Next category is character level.
Huh.
That's confusing to me.
Wait.
Either
So
way,
if you have
either way-
3 characters and 2 went Dredgen and 1 went
Oh,
Vanguard,
no.
that's
Oh,
what I'm guessing.
The graph is an account level and looks at the data on which side you pledge to first. That's account level.
First.
oh,
Cool.
first.
Gotcha.
Cool.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Everybody went Drifter, and I think the reason's pretty apparent. There is no reason whatsoever to side with the Vanguard. There's no incentivization
No.
besides these letters you get from Anor.
Yeah, and they're just like, oh, thank you for,
Well,
doing all that with me. And
not
which sucked. I know we had the most of the conversation last week, but like the only time Vanguard was involved is after it's all said and done, and then you just go up to Ikora and she just gives you, oh, here's a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And you're like, you just weren't involved at all.
Yeah, there's less connection with that side of the branch, I think.
But I think the moral conflict is really like a piece of that equation when you or didn't pull the trigger. I said that last episode. Yeah, people are avenging Cade, I think, and they still have that in the back of their minds. Like, because
Is that why you went Drifter?
no, like I did it for opposite reasons because I felt the messages were pushing me. I was like, no one's going to tell me what to do. I'm going to just go, Drifter for that reason. But I do feel like Cade would have done that as well. I feel like, a bit of a renegade. I know he's loyal to the Vanguard, but I feel like he would understand. He's not mad at me, even though I went Drifter.
I was cutting the review, and I was laughing at Steven. I'm like, I didn't even look at the Vanguard option. I just did Drifter
Drifter. Straight to the
immediately.
Drifter.
Went straight to Drifter.
I love when
Yeah.
they're trying to convince you, even when you hover over, it's like, the sound effect
Yeah.
it makes. It's like all warm and delightful when you hover over Vanguard. I was like, oh, I did go
think
back and forth there.
I just held the mouse button down on Drifter and picked that one. He's so much more interesting than anything the Vanguard.
And then when
character.
you're going through
What about you,
when you're going through, sorry, go.
Well, I picked Vanguard.
Yeah.
as your first choice,
Yeah. Well, 'cause
why?
My main's my Hunter, and Cade, Vanguard Hunter.
yeah.
But
that's what I
Cade
mean.
said I would have voted for Drifter. You betrayed Cade's memory.
Cade said that?
Yeah, he said I
Cade's
would have.
dead.
Cade, and the
Yeah.
Drifter made the bullet.
Yeah. That's
No,
what I
that's
mean.
messed
It's really
up.
The
cool.
Drifter didn't make the bullet.
Kinda
No, the Scorn made the bullet.
with his help.
No, with
Isn't that
No,
the
they-
lore?
they
Am I getting it
were-
wrong?
No, the Drifter, I don't think helped them.
Maybe
No, they used
I'm
the
wrong.
bullet of the darkness, but it wasn't. The Drifter didn't help him.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
It
Still
just
messed
it
up.
was just
though,
like
yeah.
kind of annoying going through the whole Vanguard quest line, and at the end of it, it's like, well, the Drifter doesn't seem so bad, but we'll keep an eye on him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, the tapes,
Why did I
the
go
tapes are-
this?
Like, you still have to get 7 tapes on both quests.
And they're the same tapes.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I don't feel a difference yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe it's leading into something after that
Yeah,
maybe makes a
probably, yeah.
decision. Because it does, I will say, when I read the little description down bottom, it did give me pause. It's like, oh, if you choose this, it will affect potential progress down the line, which
Yeah.
maybe that's something coming later after this season. That, and I mean, if they did that, that'd be kind of interesting because then maybe you don't have an option next time. It's just, hey, you picked this before, so you're rolling into this new
Sucker.
season this way. Yeah, exactly. Right. So
Yeah.
Well, one thing's for sure, it's a great way to get enhancement cores if you aligned with the Vanguard. And this week, Bungie announced how they're changing the enhancement core system. Brian, would you just like to read that section of the TWAB?
Where are we at here? Let's see.
Basically, the TLDR version I'll give, and then Brian will read verbatim, just so we're not misquoting. They're taking away those blue bounties that you would get. They're
Scrapper
putting
bounties.
them, scrapper bounties, they're putting them at the gunsmith, and you can pay gunsmith materials to get them. I'll talk about why I don't like that in a second. Brian, what did they say specifically?
All right, do you want me to read the entire thing here? It's pretty long.
All right, I'll TLDR. On my streams on Thursdays, usually I read the TWAB. So
Yeah.
if people saw that, we all have read it. They basically said it needs to be a rare resource. Your decision to infuse still needs to be impactful. So what they decided to do is move these bounties and then put them in there. Maybe you could go over why they did the bounty decision.
Why they went to see? Let's see. Scrapper bounties previously dropped randomly when dismantling gear. There was no reliable way to earn enhancement cores using these bounties, and we didn't feel they were providing enough materials. They're deprecating them at the start of season 7.
Any you have, you can still finish.
As with the scrapper bounties, each of these will include, among other things, enhancement cores as a reward when completed. Our hope is that this increased access and control over enhancement cores acquisition will help improve the balance of materials being earned versus materials being used. As always, we'll be continuously monitoring this item economy along with your feedback and its effectiveness.
So the only reason I don't like this, I don't know if it's finite how many that you can get per day at the gunsmith. If I can just burn all my gunsmith materials, which I think we're all overwrought with. I have thousands of them.
3,000 or 4,000.
Gunsmith materials. Yeah, my hope with this is that they're not just moving it from scrapper bounties to gunsmith materials. Yeah. Because that's just what it seems like, because they didn't really go into details on like how many you're going to get for these bounties. But with the scrapper bounty,
probably.
Yeah, for the scrapper bounties, you can get a bunch per day if you're just playing a lot and you get a lot of scrapper bounties. But if you're just gonna how many bounties can you get? Not scrapper bounties. How many gunsmith bounties can you get per day? Which is, to get enhancement cores, and if
It's
just
probably
turns out,
like what, 6?
it'll probably just like every other vendor. How many they have? Planetary vendors have 3. Vanguard has 5.
I think
or
it's
6
5
a
or
day.
6. Yeah.
And it's like I don't think the gunsmith is going to have any more than 5. But
did-
it's just going to turn out to be the same.
So real quick, here's the reason I don't like it. They took away an avenue to get masterwork materials and they put it somewhere else. So really, you haven't really changed the system at all. I just have to go pick them up now. I don't understand why they had to take away the old method. Why can't we still get?
The argument of why can't we have both?
I also don't feel like it's a long-term solution for the problem with enhancement cores. It's okay, but I feel like they could have done better. I don't know. There just has to be some guaranteed way to get masterworks. Go tell me farm strikes. Give me one at the end of strikes or something.
You guys remember the Dawning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had so many masterwork cores from that just because you just bake. I mean, I know that you don't want to have baking cookies as a mechanic all year round.
Bake masterwork
to get
cores.
Masterwork cores, enhancement cores.
Yeah.
But
yeah. I mean,
something like that is more reliable.
It's interesting you say that. Yeah, I think that was even if we look back at Destiny 1 to Destiny 2, that was the problem. I think when people felt like they had something and then they removed it. And it's like if they had have left the scrapper bounties in there, but then additionally you could have got them from gunsmith, because then you have both. And even with Spider, like that is an economy that I feel like potentially could rotate through Spider, maybe.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but
They have it sort of with Spider.
they do. But but by the time you burn your legendary marks, it's not worth it. And I get why
Spider has all those
but
bounties you'll never do. Then the one that drops a powerful engram.
Yeah.
And he has enhancement cores, and you do your glimmer exchange there just to burn through your glimmer. There's a few economy systems I feel like aren't fully realized in the world of Destiny that I would like to see tweaked maybe.
Well, clearly they want that to be like an impactful decision-making thing. Because, what is it the first time? It's like 10 legendaries, and it duplicates, like it doubles
10
every
and
time,
20,
and 20 whatever. So it's like you usually would only go there once a day and buy like 2 or 3.
No, I'm there, I buy 2 every time.
It's buying 2 because once you get to the third one, then it's a slow crawl.
Yeah, it's
To
saying.
buy the third one, and you're like, I don't want to sit here forever.
They
Yeah.
changed that.
Is it?
I
Okay.
remember when
It gets faster.
No, they changed it to the slow crawl because when Forsaken first came out, I totally forgot about that, and I was just
You're just holding it and getting
I was just
a bunch
holding
of
F,
stuff out of it.
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden I couldn't get any more, and I was like, that's weird. I had like 6,000 legendary marks, and I look and I had like 800
used
left.
them all?
I used them all.
That's right, I
was
remember
like,
you saying
oh my god.
Which is fun. Which is fun. It's a good change, to prevent you from doing that.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you didn't realize it was doubling.
No, I forgot completely.
Exactly.
And I wasn't looking at my
If maybe
screen.
one day
Yeah.
Bungie can add a system where you can just type in the amount you want to buy and then hit enter.
Go.
Oh yeah, at least on PC.
At least
or
on PC.
even on console, they have
You
like
can you can
scroll
just,
up.
you can do a
numbers.
scroll up
quantity.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that was the funniest watching people doing a live stream. I think I remember Italian or somebody's like, "All right, well, Zer's in town today. Time to hold or I can't remember what it was when you went and traded your heavy ammo synth
Yeah.
in, and you
yeah.
just sit there for like 20 minutes,
That
like
sucks.
purchasing the synth.
Yeah.
One day didn't they add
made
stacks
it-
you can buy?
Yeah, you could buy it.
Yeah.
You can buy it in like 5. I
Yes,
think it
after.
was.
Yeah.
Made it a little better.
Yeah.
You guys remember heavy ammo synths?
Oh, synth
Yeah.
in general.
No, yeah.
That
Now
did
it's
weapon.
banners. Now it's raid banners.
Yeah.
I don't mind banners.
I don't mind raid banners.
Anyway.
I like when Bungie's like, we're gonna fix this system. Here's the same system presented differently.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm gonna give you everything.
That's literally
but-
what
well-
it feels like with the gunsmith bounties.
Yeah,
It's like
right?
you're just taking the problem and you're moving it over here and saying it's a solution. That's what they did when they renamed it from Masterwork Cores. You're just like, oh, we're just
Now
gonna.
they're
It's like, well, we
Enhancement
want them to do
Cores.
this, so we're gonna call them this. And it's like that doesn't change the problem. It's just renaming it.
Well,
to,
heavy synth and
blanket over it.
heavy synth and the banners both have pros and cons. Heavy synth you can use whenever. Raid banners,
It's very specific.
yeah, you use them before.
heavy synths-
you can use it before Reckoning, right?
Yeah.
Before
Yeah, yeah,
Reckoning in
your
the
little
raids. But
spot.
the thing is, remember when we had heavy synths, you'd pop it and then there's
Die.
a timer.
Yeah.
And then you'd
5
have to
minutes.
wait.
It was 5 minute time.
Five
Yeah, and
minutes.
I remember being in Vault class and be like, how much time do you have left on your heavy synth?
Sitting
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
Crota, it's like,
Yeah.
all
Take
right,
a
don't
nap.
don't shoot
Yeah.
Crota
and,
or whatever
And the
until
raid banners give you full super
Everything.
ability
yeah.
change.
The heavy
Yeah,
synth,
yeah.
like I mean, I remember using it mostly like after a wipe.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, we got raid banners now, which is all.
Well, I remember having full heavy when you start the encounter, like on Atheon, melting it, and then
And
everyone hides in a corner.
hide it, pop
goes
it.
to your main.
Wait.
Same thing with
But
Crota
that's
though.
bad gameplay.
Yeah.
though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same thing would happen with Crota. You would
Yeah, that's
shoot
bad
all your
gameplay.
Gjallarhorn rockets at him.
Yeah.
They-
quickly consume it, get 6 more rockets.
Yeah.
shoot 'em.
They literally said during an IGN first that we don't want people hiding behind a rock messing with their loadout.
Yeah, it's bad gameplay.
Look at how did that go for Anthem? Like it didn't
Yeah.
go great for Anthem. You can't change.
Well,
your
you can't
loadout.
change the loadout at all.
Yeah, you can't
Terrible.
change your loadout at all every
yeah.
time. It's
But,
like just
I mean,
let us do
That's
that.
bad. I don't like
But
that.
that's those UI things where it's like when you're talking about that, yeah, they don't want you sitting in your menu. They also don't want you waiting around 5 minutes for a cooldown. And
Yeah.
I actually liked the whole yellow bar situation of taking out those enemies. If
And then
obviously they're
dropping heavy.
strategically placed and it dropping heavy.
Yeah.
It sucks they didn't lean into that and got rid of that after year 1 because it wasn't like it was random still. It would not happen all the time, and I think people got frustrated.
The reason
with
they got rid of that
it.
though is because of the power slot change, where they moved shotguns
know.
into the special
Yeah.
slots. Like, well, if you have shotgun ammo,
Yeah.
because they didn't even really nerf shotguns that much when Forsaken.
Yeah,
dropped.
there was also like
This is IGN sits around and thinks about old stuff that happened.
Sorry.
Steven still hasn't said what he thinks about the Enhancement Core issue.
Yeah,
I want to give him a
totally
chance.
straight away from
We
that
did.
topic.
Heavy ammo.
So I've never had an issue in terms of running out of Master Cores. I'm super meticulous about my inventory. I had
Me
like
too.
800 saved up, which is a ton. But that being said, I am not a fan of Master Cores. I never was.
You have 800 Masterwork cores.
Yeah.
But let's say why you do. There's a couple reasons why you do. You go to the spider every day, but then wasn't there like a
No, okay.
dismantling?
I did that.
Well, yeah, there was this whole loop that you could do
Exactly.
if you dismantle. I forgot what it was.
Break
You
tech
buy a
weapon.
That was,
gun.
it was
you
the
buy
Braid
one of the
Tech gun,
Braid
but that was
Tech
for
guns.
mods. That I
No, that was
remember.
for mods. It
That
was for
the Braid
Master.
Tech.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, there was
Anyway,
another part.
that being said, I don't have an issue inventory-wise, but I have an issue with the whole concept of Master Cores. I understand the reason why they introduced such an expensive cost to infuse is because they want each infusion to matter, and they don't want you to infuse whatever, whenever. But I think that takes away the fun of leveling up in Destiny.
Yes.
The most efficient way to level up in Destiny is don't ever infuse anything until you start hitting really, really, really high lights or high power light.
Hold on to hot garbage gear
Yeah,
so your
hold on
Titan
to-
looks like an idiot.
Yeah.
So your guardian looks like a mess. He looks
Yeah.
like a clown. You
Yep.
have like
Yeah.
this gear that you know you will never ever use.
Yeah.
And you're gonna get rid of it eventually once you get a higher drop. And that kind of takes away from the MMO part of the game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You should find if you find an armor that's like 5 lights above what you are now, but it's nowhere clear the max light, and you want to hold on to it, but it doesn't make sense for you to infuse into that
Because of the
constant-
resources.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys hear that? Oh, it's the ghost of Sean Finnegan saying transmog and referencing World of Warcraft. Seriously. I'm like,
Okay, at this point,
You guys feel him?
there must
He's
be,
here.
I mean, I don't know anything about dev work behind the scenes, but that must be some like really intricate coding that kind of has a problem with the way their system is scaled right now.
for Masterwork cores? Because
No,
they
no,
didn't
no.
have them originally.
No, like
course.
Whatever.
It might be. I'm assuming, or I'm guessing that it's very tough for them to take a set piece of armor and transfer another piece of armor, the perks over, because
Well-
that's what essentially transmog is.
That's a good point because
Yeah.
we can't even pull stuff out of our inventory that has random rolls on it.
Exactly.
Right now.
So I'm guessing there's something behind the scenes that we don't know about. But my point is, if you get an armor piece and that looks cool, it got good rolls on it, I don't like stashing it in my vault until I'm max level. I want
Yes.
to play with it. I want to grow with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Masterwork cores and the scarcity and the cost of Masterwork cores, it's not an efficient way to do that right now.
Not only that, so you're talking about one aspect of the game. Think about when the last time you've ever maxed
Armor.
Oh, I don't
armor.
touch my armor.
No,
Mo-
armor,
most-
armor doesn't.
I don't
Yeah.
Masterwork any armor.
People have actually said that to me. It's like, hey, do any of you guys have like max masterwork armor? And
No.
it's like, no. Like I've never
Yeah, the
actually
Leviathan
taken
raid
that.
stuff.
That's
Because
The
it dropped his
Leviathan raid.
masterwork.
Yeah.
Because
I'm
it
a-
has a perk benefit to do
remember
that.
that.
But
I'm
that's
a
it.
huge advocate of shading my Guardian. Like,
Yeah.
I want my Guardian to have like multiple versatile looks, different shaders. And you can't do that if you keep maxing everything. You want-
Exactly.
like even with someone with 800 master cores, I would run out.
Yeah.
And that's 800. Like how many people do you know that have 800 master cores?
Not me. I got like 30.
I feel like I have a lot. And
I have like
150.
How much would it
30,
cost?
40
to
each time.
How much would it cost to masterwork your armor?
I don't know the exact number, but I know there's 5 different levels.
Yeah,
It's like it goes up incrementally.
it's like 100 cores.
Not one.
No, it wouldn't be
No,
that
it's
many.
like I think
No, I don't
20
think
or
it's even
something.
that
it's like 25
Might be 20.
to 30, something like
Yeah.
that.
I know
But
with
if
the
you
gun
think
though.
about
I know that with a gun, the final masterwork is 10, right?
Yeah.
But then you're still spending
The final
the final
upgrade is
one.
10.
But
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
each
That's
each
per
level
slot.
before that
Yeah.
has a certain
It's like
amount
10,
as well.
5, 3, 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the whole economy is kind of messed up. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of people have max glimmer, and the other day I was playing and I was just like infusing stuff because
Yeah.
trying to get to 700, and then I found myself completely out of glimmer, and I was like, crap. Well, now I have the armor set I want, but now I can't apply mods to it because I don't have glimmer.
Yeah.
It's just a really frustrating system, and I'm not a fan of the whole thing.
The economy is weird. It feels really cobbled together.
Yeah.
Like I have 3,000 gunsmith materials and nothing that I really want to spend them on. There is somewhere.
Gonna be those bounties that you're gonna
yeah,
be spending
it's
on
those
for masterwork
bounties.
cores.
Yeah.
Like these are 100 glimmer. I was like, what? Like I dismantled my set that was masterworked actually from the old raids.
The Leviathan.
Yeah,
masterwork.
and I like it's probably gonna come into play in opulence or whatever. But
Yeah,
I needed
but-
vault space.
I think they're gonna be new.
So,
But
they're
I
gonna be
do-
new sets. That are gonna come.
I do like what they did with Spider. I hate harvesting
Yes.
planetary materials. I did that
Yeah.
so long in D1. The fact that you can go to them on a rotating
economy system. Yeah. That's
pick
good.
whatever up. That's fantastic.
I keep
like
a stack of like 800 at all times.
that. Yeah.
Tell me you don't miss patrolling the moon and
Little spin metal.
You know what?
Oh,
planet-
Metal
how about
Earth.
that throwback during the
Filaments.
Thorin Quest for helium filaments and plat
Sapphire
steel,
That was cool. Yeah,
that was
sapphire
cool.
wire?
that was cool. That
Oh, it
little
wasn't
throwback.
helium filaments. It was
No,
the,
helium film was the moon. Was the moon?
Yeah, yeah.
It was Hardonic Essence, Sapphire
That
Wire.
was the one.
Yeah, and
Plastic plating.
I thought that was
It
cute.
was a good throwback.
Can we talk about the Thorin Quest? I largely like the Thorin Quest, except the very last step that encouraged you to do void specific kills. Hand cannon kills count as double because
That was a throwback to the way you got the gun.
It was.
In Destiny 1
But
when you
even
got the random
easier,
bounty.
though. It was easier.
It's easier
easier
now.
because you didn't lose progress.
Yeah, in Destiny 1 you lost progress for.
The only reason I didn't like it is because I'm not as good at PvP as you guys are. I don't know if you
Not
play
me.
a lot of PvP.
I'm not that good.
I think it took me 20 rounds in comp, and I'm really lowly ranked in comp, so it was pretty much a normal
sweaty.
game. It took me 22 games of that, and it just it drug on too long. It got to that point where I'm just like, why am I even doing this? I could be spending time with my girlfriend, you know, like what am I? Who even cares? But like I was on the review, so like I got to get the gun. And like when a
You
quest,
have a girlfriend? No, I'm kidding.
Let's talk about
Is
that.
that Bungie's fault?
It's Bungie's fault. No, when a quest gets to that point, and bless her heart, she's very supportive that I play video games so much.
Bungie?
Yeah.
Bless Bungie's heart.
But it just, I guess the point I'm just trying to make is I don't mind a grind. That grind just, all the other parts were fine. Killing people.
yeah,
You
I
had
agree with
multiple avenues all the other ways. And this
that's-
one is, hey, you got to do PvP.
I agree.
That was what I was, because it had that. I was hoping that the final quest part would have that option of like, because you got 4 or 5 quest steps before that where it's like kill these type of people or kill warlocks in PvP. It's like,
Make me do 4 100k void only nightfalls.
Yeah.
By the way, rotate the nightfalls. There's so much going on in the world of Destiny right now.
I need one
no
thing,
new armor
I need
sets.
one thing to get Curse Breaker, and they just will not put Corrupted in the Nightfall record.
No new armor sets at any of the vendors except the one where you pay money. Nightfalls haven't rotated. There's all these little weird quality of life things that aren't changing for some reason.
So I have mixed feelings about the Thorin Quest. One of the biggest complaints in our community right now is if you're a PvE player, you don't want to play PvP. If you're a PvP player, you shouldn't have to play PvE, and those quests should be separate. It makes sense. Like, if you think about it, that does make sense. However, I do like the steps before that last step, the Void Kill step.
By the way,
yeah,
to your point, I actually did all the steps in PvP. I was having a good time in PvP.
I did too, but I like that there were different avenues to finish those quests. However, that last quest, so this is where I have different thoughts about it. I've always been an advocate of giving us a quest that only the best of the best or really good players can finish, and you should get a reward like Not Forgotten, Thorn, last word for that.
You talking about the strike or the grind?
Oh, the
the
void
strike
kills.
is the very
Okay,
last.
Yeah,
bit,
my
Yeah,
apologies. The
second
strike
last,
was the
yeah.
very last step. I'm talking about the void kills. Players should be rewarded for being good at the game or putting the time in, and it's not like you're losing progress. It is frustrating if you're not a PvP player, because it took me like 8 comp matches to get it done, but I know people who played like 40 quick play games because they're just not good at PvP.
and they're not going to get it. They're
quick
discouraged to
play
go into
progress.
comp.
Oh my God! Everyone told me to go into quick play. I'm like, I literally the percentage goes so slow. I went into comp. I had it in 20 to 25 games, and it was.
But that depends on where your comp rank is. Like you said, if you're at 0 and you're starting, then that's fine. But if
You got a
you're
bunch of power drops too.
yeah, but if you're in like the 2000 or if you're playing like higher ranked versions of comp, it's not a good time. to do
I
that.
hopped in with Steven and Teddy, and I'm like, nope.
Well, yeah, because not only that, I mean, no offense, you're like a kill hog, and so then you don't actually get any kills.
I don't like that. I'm efficient at killing.
That's fine, but my point is, if Destin's playing with you, you're
No,
killing.
it's not-
Destin's
yeah,
not killing.
I
We got
soloed
stomped.
I soloed the Thorn Quest.
I did it in Rumble actually.
Yeah, back to my point. I enjoy when there are quests that only the really, really good players can get, such as Not Forgotten, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there's also that side argument, well, you're just giving the rich more richer.
Yeah.
And I understand that, but like you got to reward those kind of players
That's what
too.
that's what video gaming is like you play the game to get better and get on top.
Yeah,
top,
and
top.
I
like,
do understand the argument, because like when Not Forgotten is that good of a gun and bad
Luna.
and less skilled players can't get it,
Yep.
that is frustrating. But that's a whole nother topic.
as a less skilled
Yeah.
player,
But
that doesn't bother me. I
What's the
recognize
answer
it.
though? Because I mean, you're doing what I normally do, and again, I don't want to disagree now. I guess I'm not allowed to do that on the show anymore.
Disagree if you
what's-
have a point that's
what's-
not fever induced.
Well, I know, but my point is not fair. But what's the solution? Because you're saying you understand both sides. So what would you do?
In terms of the Thorn Quest?
Yeah, like what's the answer?
I think the Thorn Quest, it's such an iconic gun, and everyone who played Destiny 1 obviously wants that in their collection because it's such an iconic gun. And for PvP, for players who don't like PvP, that quest is very hard, because I got like 42 kills in a comp game, and I only got like 13%.
Especially when the gun feels better in PvE than it does in PvE.
42 kills for 13%.
Yeah, and those might not all be void hand cannon kills, but that's a lot of kills.
Yeah, it's a
and you
different
only
math.
got 13% in comp. So it's a long quest. Maybe Thorn, I could have seen them have different avenues like the steps before, but Not Forgotten, guns like that, I'm totally fine with it. You need to be good to get it.
Yep.
Redrix, Not
Redrix, you
Forgotten.
need to be good to get
What's
it.
the hand cannon?
Luna's Howl.
Luna's
Yeah,
Not
I actually
Forgotten.
don't mind those being in comp. And actually, because I had to do
Reckless.
comp
Yeah.
Because I had to do comp so much with Thorn, I actually am looking at my progress now. I'm like, I can actually get some of these weapons, I think.
In like Luna's Howl, you probably could.
Yeah, like I think
Yeah.
I could get Luna's. I
Not-
think I could probably get some of the other lower end ones
Yeah.
because I haven't played comp since launch.
Yeah.
I don't like
Yeah.
the 2 modes that are like detonate the bomb and whatever the other
Countdown
one.
and survival.
Countdown.
Yeah,
Yeah.
countdown and survival.
Yeah, and that's another part to it too. I feel like people are more frustrated about not forgotten because of the state of comp and the player population and stuff like that. No one wants to sit in queue for 10 minutes and play the same team that just stomped you over and over.
Yeah.
But you're fine with it then, is your official position how it is?
The Thorin Quest.
No, you're talking about Not Forgotten. We went back and forth
Sorry.
between
Things
Not Forgotten and
like
Thorn.
yeah, there should be a pinnacle gun that only the best of best can get. That gun might be a little too good. It is really good.
Which one?
No, Not Forgotten, and this is what I'm saying, like on console
Is very good. Yeah.
it's like too good is the concern.
That's what I'm saying. The gun might be too good, but as a pinnacle reward, those players should be rewarded for their skill and dedication. But I do think people will be less soured if the competitive playlist was more fun, the playlist was better, and there were overall more players playing it.
Can I tell you why I disagree?
Sure.
I think that there's something to be said for what you're saying.
Yeah.
The issue is the avenue is only if you get to max like elo. There's no other
500, yeah.
Yeah, there's no other path. I think people would be more forgiving if it was like Thorn prior to like that step with the kills. If it's like, hey, get to max elo 5400 or do 1000 kills of this. There's another avenue of progression that is on top of that. It's not a just do this, it's both. Or. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
hit 5400 or get 1,000 hand cannon kills in any PvP match. Then it's like you could collectively do it over time. It's not. That's it.
We've been on this one, so do you
Yeah.
have final thoughts, Stephen?
I don't necessarily disagree with that stance, but I do think there should be a reward that getting max elo. Like
Well, that's it. Like that's not forgotten right now. But a lot of people like are upset because the
Yeah,
people who
and I
don't
understand-
have
I
it
understand
aren't
that.
good, and they're getting destroyed in quick play and all those games by the people who are really good.
yeah. No, I understand that.
So
it's there's two sides of the argument.
Yeah.
Let me do quick play and like make it really high. Make it like 5,000 kills in quick play or something.
Yeah,
Like,
so you're
like an
progressing
actual
naturally.
thing that you have to progress towards. But if you put me in the comp, I will lose. I've matched against Giggs and he destroys me.
Yeah.
In trials, like I'm like, really?
No.
You're gonna match me against him?
No,
Comp.
yeah. Now that I think
Trials.
about it,
Yeah, comp.
Now that
That
I
was back in
think about
trials
it,
time.
Oh, when you were playing trials
Yeah.
before.
Now that I think about it, that's probably the better solution to
Yeah.
it. But I would like to see like a cosmetic, like a
cosmetic for that to showcase that
Also-
you did 5400.
yeah.
That
would be
I'm
cool.
fine with.
that's not
because
that's
then it's not a
that's not an emblem that shows your glory.
And no one-
score,
right.
please.
That I'm fine.
Like a
with.
shader.
No emblems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shade.
Or emblems that look like an emblem you've already had, but it just changes like a little bit of a symbol on the left side of it.
Reason I was trying to shuffle you guys along is because we actually have to talk about one more update, and that's about Iron Banner. So Iron Banner is changing. It's coming out again next week. You're going to be able to get the rocket launcher, Brian.
Nope.
The grenade launcher, and you're
Grenade
going to be able to
launcher,
get Wise and Rebuke. I don't remember the name of the grenade launcher.
Wise and
CJ?
Rebuke. Yeah, I can't remember either, but
So-
Wise and Rebuke
They don't,
is the
they
one.
didn't put the name on here, so I don't know.
There's going to be something that allows you to lower your power by 100. It is something that you purchase at Lord Salad.
Wolf's Burden.
Wolf's Burden.
Yeah.
It lowers your power by 100, and if you get 500 Guardian kills, you can get a curated roll of Wise and Rebuke. You got to get 500 kills. I mean, like, whatever. Okay.
It's a lot of kills.
As a
but-
fusion
if you
rifle
want
guy,
to.
I am excited.
Question is-
here's what's good about it.
Yeah.
Wise and Rebuke is no longer available because it was only available in Destiny 2 Year 1's like Season 1.
I still have it.
Right, but if you didn't get it and you were not playing Destiny and only got into Forsaken, Wise and Rebuke as a fusion rifle destroys because as backup plan, it is my favorite weapon. It's basically the equivalent of a legendary like Plan C from Destiny 1. It is an amazing fusion rifle if you're a fusion
That's
rifle.
assuming that
That's
the curated
assuming
role
it
will
has
have
a
backup
bunch
plan in it.
Assuming, I mean, they're saying Wise and Rebuke. If it has all the same roles that the previous one did, the
Yeah.
Year 1 version I still use because it's really good.
Yeah.
And then the other ones will favor, which will power you up plus 100. So, for example, if you're 600 light, you'll now be 700 light, and you can hop into Iron Banner and compete with the big boys, so to speak. I don't really like that. I feel it kind of defeats the whole purpose of what Iron Banner is. I guess it only lasts 30 minutes, so it's okay. But I'm just kind of like, but the whole reason I get powered up is so I could go into Iron Banner. I feel like it further diminishes Iron Banner away from what it was in D1 and the way it felt in D1. I still love the event. I like that you have bounties now that give you powerful drops. That's all good.
I think that's what it was more geared towards, is those people who are PvE like centric players that are, you know, a little discouraged from jumping into Iron Banner because they might be a little low in light, or they're just you know, out there and they want to get those bounties to actually get their light up. Actually, because like you get like 4 or 5 bounties in a week that give you a power drop from,
and
they just want to, like, Bungie probably just wants to include people in the event that are normally PvE only.
Yeah, I get that. I'm really not incentivized to play Iron Banner. Don't really care about Wise and Rebuke or the grenade launcher, because I have the old one.
Yeah.
I'm like, how good is this role going to be that I just have to have it and go through this grind?
Well, it's another weapon to collect. I mean,
it's just adding to your collection.
Yeah.
Right? The other part
Do it for the cores.
No.
Yeah, right.
Dismantle it.
You can put a mod on it.
You can put a mod on it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Armor is not enticing to me whatsoever this season. It looks blah.
So that would
it
be-
looks
it looks like
last season they did something really smart, and I saw Reddit threaded about it, and I had totally forgotten they did this. You had your cool looking armor set, like Iron Wolves, really thematic to what Iron Banner is, and then you could get like the samurai look, and that was really, really cool. And I don't even know what this is supposed to be.
It kind of looks like the samurai stuff from like season 1 of
I don't know if
Destiny
it's
2.
the design or what. Bring back D1 armor. You have all this amazing artwork to pull from, and these amazing sets that you could get, and you haven't given us.
Well, I like when if you'd go up to Saladin when you're decked out in your own Iron Banner gear and you just look like you fit in with him.
Yeah.
I mean,
This does
not do that.
I will say I do enjoy the D1 armor better too. I think there's another side of it that a lot of people go, oh yeah, you're bringing back what we already had as reskins. Like, I hear that and see that an awful lot. I think design wise, the Iron Banner stuff was better in Destiny 1 too.
I would say it was better in D2 launch.
Yeah,
than
maybe
it
a
was now.
Yeah, but I mean,
this set's been
the
there
drifter
too.
stuff I really like. I was saying to Steven,
Yeah.
like, as the hunter, like the cloaks, the long capes and stuff like that, I really like. And just the fabric and the design of it, like Shattered Cloak, like the Shattered one from Vault of Glass was my favorite one. But I also love the Trials and Iron Banner cloaks from Destiny 1. But I think that's a sticky, slippery slope, right? When you're bringing back like older stuff as new.
Yeah.
Well, here's the
Like
thing.
that's always the thing that people are complaining when they do. Right?
That's when it's tied to an expansion that you have to own. This is free to all players. This isn't something that, like, it's a free inclusion thing.
Free, sure, but
so they
they
brought back the old maps. If you're going to bring back another old map, throw some Iron Banner sets in there. Throw some of the really cool gear from Destiny 1 that you just haven't utilized yet in Destiny 2. I'm not incentivized to go for this. Give me Why is it one armor set? Why can't I collect any of the armor? Well, actually, don't the...
No, they have like
they've dropped. Like,
well,
randomly,
they can change. You can also like change them up like visually. But
you can't with this set, can you? That was only the previous season.
The earlier ones.
Yeah, and that was awesome. I like that system.
Yeah.
Do this, you get the thing that will change your look.
Yes.
I like that a lot.
And I think that was some of the
ornament
comment
system.
around like the drifter armor, right? It would have been better to have done something like that where it was just tiered and then your upgrades were visual once you kind of completed tier 1, 2, or 3. I think that's the other thing too with Iron Banners. Like, I wish that, like those Gambit Prime armor mods, there was something to actually incentivize you to play with the armor in Iron Banner. I think there's a couple bounties and stuff like that, but and there's like triumphs.
There is for Gambit, Crucible, and Vanguard.
But there's triumphs. Like, I wish it was something like get so much XP, like more XP, or maybe there's like a glimmer, and maybe wear and get Iron Banner gear and get like 5 Masterwork cores every time you win. Like, they could do something that allows you to get some kind of economy or something else in the game as
More tokens.
as an incentive to actually use the armor.
Just boons.
Tokens, I think, like, that is not 2 tokens in a blue soured anybody from getting tokens, I think. So tokens is not an economy that I don't think really anybody cares about right now.
Well, that's the economy for Iron Banner.
Right. I mean,
To upgrade your character so that you can
Yes.
buy the bounties. So if you had an armor set from previous seasons that you could wear and it increased that, seeing that's how
absolutely.
the inventory system works currently,
Yeah.
that would incentivize me to wear the
Yeah.
Iron Banner set.
yeah, and that's fair. I think the issue is with purchasing anything in Destiny with tokens just doesn't feel special. Like, I don't feel when I get something by sitting there at the token, guy.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it feels kind of like, okay. Like, I would rather something either drop in the post game that feels oh, that was like a chance at that, and I got it, versus standing at freaking Saladin for 10 minutes, dumping in like 1,000 tokens.
Iron
But
Banner right now does both, which is a good thing.
they do.
But
Yeah.
you got to spend your tokens somewhere, so I'll drop them at Saladin, or I
Exactly.
just stack them up and I just wait for the next Iron Banner when there's an armor set I have.
Yeah, I do the triumphs. I basically look at the triumphs and go, okay, how many packages do I need for this season, or did I get that thing yet? And do I need to have all armor pieces to do the thing and the activity that I want to get that triumph?
I've been talk man for a long time. Brian, do you like Iron Banner? Do you think it's fine? Do you want to see it improved?
It's fine.
It's just okay, right?
You're not a PvP.
I'm not a yeah. I was like, I'm such the wrong person to ask for that because I'm not a PvP player. But
I don't mind Iron Banner.
like the thing
It's
is
just
the
okay, though.
the
It could be
incentive.
amazing.
well,
the
they're trying to do something different with it. So until we get a
Yeah.
chance to play it, I
The
don't
incentive
know.
of Wolves' favor to buff 100 power levels to appeal to PvE players doesn't
Yeah.
appeal. Doesn't incentivize me to.
Gotcha.
I'll do it because I'm bored.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, there's so much else to play too right
Yeah.
now. I mean, there's
Yeah.
that conversation, which,
Yeah.
But until we get a chance to play this, I mean, it's changing it to something. I don't know what it will be or whether or not we feel incentivized to play it or not.
What about you, Steven? Do you like it?
I'm kind of like Brian. It's fine. Like
It's just okay.
I think the lower power by 100 and getting 500 kills.
That's good for people who are enjoying PvE.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then,
So that's a good.
and then
change.
I think
that.
you
That's
get
cool.
like an emblem for doing the lower power by 100 or something. That's fine. And then, but I wanted to go back to a point that
We're
you
just channeling Fran
I
here.
wanted to go back to a point that Destin brought up. We were talking about it, and then we completely strayed off to start talking about armor. And for conversation purposes, I do like Destiny 1 Iron Banner armor better than Destiny 2. But in Destiny 1, Iron Banner was kind of get a bunch of friends, play, and then if you were like 20 light levels above the other person, that like excited you. You know, like you
feel that
like
way,
I remember
definitely.
like while we're flying in orbit, you'd look at the other players and you're like, oh, that guy's like 340.
He's so dead.
Yeah.
Now this guy's gonna get one shot, dude.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Or like you play another team, like if you play another team of 6 and they're like that team's higher than you, we took that as a challenge, stuff like that. And the Wolves favor powering up to 100. This is something Destiny always does. They do something, and there's always a pro and con. With whatever decision Bungie does, this decision is clearly trying to incentivize players who don't have the time to grind out the power to enjoy Iron Banner. But then there's that other point that you were bringing up in Destiny 1. Iron Banner was all about grinding that light level and then using that to your advantage in D1. D2, it seems like they're going away from that, and that's fine because ideally we'll have a more healthy player base, but it is kind of getting rid of that power fantasy.
Yeah,
So-
I mean,
which
well,
was what was missing in
Yeah.
vanilla D2.
Yeah,
when they would light level
I
didn't
don't know
matter
if-
at all.
I don't-
Right.
I'm not saying this is a wrong or right decision.
It's just
I'm just fine with it.
so
Like, it's
there
Iron
was no
Banner.
power level. Yeah, before. Do you like power level in Iron Banner or no power level?
Are you talking about D2?
Yeah, in D2.
Like I said, I'm neutral on it. I do like. There's pros and cons, right? There is no power level, so everyone's incentivized to play it. But now there's power level,
Yeah.
but they're giving you 100 power to help you play.
Sounds like you're sitting on the fence. I know all about that.
I'm
he's
not
working through it.
It's just I don't care either way. Like both systems for me was fine.
It's just taking away another cool thing about PvP. They already took away trials. The mode they had last week, where it was, what was it, 2v2, Steven?
Those
Is it
Crimson
called-
doubles before that, but
No, I know it does.
I liked Crimson Doubles a lot. That was really fun playing with you. And
Yeah.
I
He's
think I
talking
played
about,
with you.
Yeah,
and then the mode that
is
was
it
there like a few
knockout?
weeks back, it was basically like elimination.
It's elimination, but
Yeah.
you can get the res.
Oh,
if
and
you
it
get the
counts
res,
Put that
10.
in comp.
Yeah,
Why
if
the
you-
hell is that not in comp?
if you get the res, you deny the point.
yes.
Yeah.
Why isn't that in comp? That mode is fantastic.
The real
Yeah.
question is what happened to Crucible Labs?
Yeah, and what
Weird.
happened to
That's
Crucible Labs?
The last Crucible
Like,
Labs was that rocket launcher mode, right?
which is cool because I thought that's what Crucible Labs would have been, but then it just disappeared.
disappeared
Yeah.
like after Forsaken came
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
There's
Yeah.
all these things that they've done, and then they take them away, and then they don't bring them back. And I'm just over here like, what is happening? Why are you taking things away from the player base?
I would love to see a 3v3 Elam just for 1 week.
Yep.
Just to see how it plays.
It's a
Crucible
really,
Labs.
really fun mode. It's the closest we have to trials, and I played it. I'm not a PvP guy. I was like, man, I would play this.
Yeah.
If this was in comp, this is fun.
It was.
Yeah.
Turns out people liked Trials of Osiris.
Yeah, right?
And they want it
wow.
Just a little bit.
That Trials on the 9.
Just a
I'm
little
talking
bit.
about Trials of Osiris.
What were we
Yeah.
gonna talk about the Zer bounty?
The Zer bounty. So, spoiler warning.
This is it. Spoiler
We
warning.
can talk
Yeah.
about the Zer
Yeah.
bounty.
Really quick. I loved week
Yeah.
1.
Yes.
Week 2 was interesting.
Week 2 was awesome. I'll tell you why.
Why?
This guy has some.
I think
he
I
has
know
some,
why.
He has some
Yeah.
lore that he'll
I'm
drop.
a huge fan of the Destiny lore.
Yeah.
And this is going back to Forsaken. Before Black Armory, was it before Black Armory? Maybe. Don't
I only
quote me on
have
that.
4 of the entries, so spoilers for me too.
Yeah. So there is. Do you guys remember that week when we went to the Queen and she's talking to the emissary?
The emissary.
Yeah.
And after the emissary disappears, the Queen says, "She was once a friend, now she's a shell."
Yeah.
No one knew what that
A
meant.
shill?
A shell.
Shell.
Yeah.
Oh, shell.
A bungee shell.
And the lore that they dropped today, they're talking about a person named Ansar, Ansar, I think. Ansar was a human. Do you guys know how Awokens were created?
Let us know.
The Awokens were all humans at one point, but they did not agree with the philosophy of the traveler and the light. So they got on a big ass ship and they flew into space. And then they met the darkness, like a complete evil black hole, whatever. And I think it was I forgot who it was, but someone on the ship told that got on transmission and told the darkness basically that we are not part of the human race. We do not agree with the traveler, and we're like, this is not our fight against you. The darkness engulfed them, turned them all into Awoken, and they had that Awoken planet.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward, the Queen is the Queen now, Marasov. She tells all the Awoken that we're leaving the Queen, or we're leaving the planet's dying, blah, blah, blah. And they all left. Anyway, back to the story. Ansar was a human on Earth. She got on the ship with the renegades. She turned into an Awoken. Then, after she turned into Awoken, she wanted to go back to Earth to convince the Awoken that stayed on Earth that the Queen isn't a bad person, that she's not against you, come back to us. But after hearing that, Marasov told Ansar, there's no coming back if you come back to Earth. That's fine. She went back to Earth. For 2 weeks, she couldn't find any Awoken, and she got murdered.
Oh.
She got murdered, and that was the lore piece that dropped today.
Oh.
She got resurrected eventually as a Titan. So she's a Guardian now,
Sunbreaker.
a Sunbreaker.
Yeah, because she had a ghost
Yeah,
this week.
saw that.
Yes.
And then the ghost falls.
Yes,
Yeah,
and there is a lore piece that we got during Forsaken talking about Ansar that they're talking about an Awoken that turned into a Guardian, and she had no memory of the Queen at all. That they were talking about Ansar. Ansar became addicted to finding out more about the Nine. So during the Red War, she went to go look for the Nine, but the whole light thing happened. She lost her ghost. She met the Nine, and then that scene we saw today was that. Like, she was abandoning the light, and she came back as the emissary.
Ah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it's focusing, like, you would never know this if you didn't read all that lore.
Yeah.
But all that is
I was gonna read it.
it's focusing on another character, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
I love what
and
they're
it's
doing.
It's weird. Like, yeah. 'cause
You will
I-
understand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's what I mean. Pieces of it I remember, but like I have not even probably got a lot of the lore stuff from Forsaken yet
That's
that
cool.
you have. And so when you're trying to backtrack, and you've had this conversation with me before,
Yeah, they're all tying it together, which I think it's beautifully done.
I think it is really well done too.
Yeah.
But it does raise a question. It's like if you haven't got a chance to find that stuff,
Well, you'd never know.
You
Like,
you
you'd
would
have
not
no
know.
idea.
It is very interesting
Yeah.
to hear because you've grinded out a lot of those
Yeah,
pieces.
and I'm a
in the
huge fan of
triumphs.
the lore.
Yeah.
And my prediction is the emissaries are going to try to do that to us because we're stronger than the current emissary right now. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you know how we had to pick between Vanguard and
Yeah. Dredgen.
what if we pick between Guardian and the Nine later?
Yeah. Yeah.
9.
Oh, between the traveler.
Yeah,
like
I've been Guardian long enough.
Like in Destiny
Yeah.
3, like
Yeah.
you become an agent of the Nine or a Guardian.
Usually
Yeah.
when they do these things where like you choose a side or like they did the easy bake oven and we see that's how they utilize modes,
Yeah.
they're testing something for later.
Yeah.
I'm
know.
I'm super excited for
Yeah.
the future of Destiny.
Why did you not like it? I mean, I think I know.
I didn't know what the hell was happening.
So there you
Like
go.
she said a
So-
bunch of stuff I didn't understand and I'm
Yeah.
like, well, I guess I got to go read the cards.
Yeah.
You know that I've
Yeah.
had.
But now
sitting around.
knowing everything I just said, isn't that like
It's
awesome?
much more interesting.
Yeah.
Now. I'm like, okay, so they're
That is a challenge though, like for people who are not into it to the level that you're into it. I didn't mind the fact that it wasn't a cinematic cutscene. Like I did like the last week's that was like a cinematic
getting more.
cutscene. Yeah, and I think
We
that
have like
just,
7 more weeks of this.
Yeah, the fact that this is potentially going to be like this
get 3
every
weeks,
week, where you have a cinematic cutscene or you have a bunch of other stuff, is pretty cool. So.
It's something that you definitely need to follow up on and read
Yeah.
the lore tabs. And it's really fast.
Every time Steven tells me there's a cool lore thing, like I went and read all the Ada stuff when Reddit
Yeah.
found it, and
It's really
it was
cool.
really neat to learn
Yeah.
about her past and
Yeah.
how she was actually a child and all that. And
And the gun that you get, the Izanagi's rifles, the gun sheet.
His bird.
to avenge
Burden,
or
yeah.
Burden, yeah.
part of the reason I didn't like Black Armory is because all that was so buried. You literally couldn't
hidden.
get the pages,
It
and
is
they
buried.
fixed that now. But it
Fixed
took
it
them till
after.
the next
They
expansion.
fixed it after everybody exploited it.
Also,
and-
there's
Yeah.
another thing that I still have a problem with Black Army. I don't know if you guys got that far. If you, I forgot what it was. If you unlock something of everything or grind out everything, there's a really small cutscene where
At the
she, like,
end.
she like puts something in her head like Master Chief and Cortana.
Freaks
and
out
She like freaks out and turns
yeah.
purple.
I didn't get that.
Yeah.
And you had to grind a lot for that. And I'm just like, okay, now what? I'm just purple? Like,
Yeah.
What did that serve?
Yeah.
I was just like, that
They're
was
building. It feels like they're building to something.
Feels like they're
not
building
sure.
a lot of different
Not
things.
sure,
like
but-
which
yeah.
of these things that they are building is going to come together,
Yeah.
and we're going to
Well,
have like a climax.
seems-
to it.
Aldrin as well. It's like, where's that?
Yeah,
but she, like,
Honor.
Show me that.
It's like, oh,
Honor.
it's like you're not that big of a character and now you're purple.
Yeah.
Yeah. The last topic, CJ wanted to talk a little bit about RNG. We'll give him about 5 minutes,
Not again.
and
This is
feel
going
free to
back
turn
to-
off the show now. I will say this: the more that we use this room, it's way more chill.
Oh, absolutely.
Like I'm not worried about
no, the
studio
The
stuff.
studio was like, yeah.
No, we don't have to worry about studio timing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we like.
You're sitting in my seat, Brian.
People are like, "Why
It's
is
really
Destin
weird.
now
I
he's
can sit
rushing
there
them?"
next
I'm
week
like,
if you want me to.
But that's literally our only studio space. Like every production IGN does happens in there.
But
So
we are
yeah.
building
Why-
like 3. Like
We are.
You know,
Yeah.
so we're
Yeah.
doing
We are.
new
So like,
studios,
why is Destin stressed? Because Miyamoto's after this, and I gotta get the F out of this
Yeah.
room.
A bunch of
You know,
places.
like
Well,
yeah.
the studio is always cold too. Literally, Steven sat there shaking. Like,
perfect
you've probably talked more in
probably
this.
take my shirt off.
Yeah, you've probably talked more in this episode than you have in the last 10 because you're normally sitting there going.
No one wants to talk when they're
Yeah, they're
freezing.
cold.
I'm hyped on the lore. Though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You want to talk about the
Yeah.
topic from last week?
So it's interesting because, again, got a lot of roasting. That's fine. I can take it. And I think there was a lot of people who agreed with you,
You
and
should
Steven.
preface it because not everyone who watches this episode watched.
Yeah, exactly. So watch
Or
last.
they just stopped watching.
Yeah,
Before
so
you guys get
that's
into it,
probably
I'm
it.
just
Brian-
I'm gonna sit out.
Brian's gonna take us. No, you were great in the episode actually, because you normally do what I would do is sit on the fence and moderate, and now I'm being Sean
tell the
Finnegan.
audience what you're talking.
Yeah, so last week we had the discussion, and it was clearly a miscommunication. There was a combination of different things happening. So we're gonna preface it with, let's talk about RNG and how we improve it. Destin,
I'm just waiting for
No,
you
no,
to-
no, you're already getting there.
2:06 right
Yeah,
now.
exactly. We're gonna time it. No,
2:11.
I don't want to talk about this for 25 minutes like we did last week,
Yeah.
but I do want to clarify that a bunch of people in the comment section, I think majority related with you guys, but then there was a bunch of other people who understood where some of the confusion was and what I was saying. So
We're gonna take turns.
gonna take turns. Gonna actually have a little bit of a you tell me what you think and you tell me what you think. I think the confusion was stemming from you thought you obviously now know now the system was broken.
I knew that at the time.
Yeah, and you knew that at the time. But within the context, I think we kept on using this word, how you feel. I think that's the tricky part of how you define when Destiny is working or when it's not. Because if they don't communicate it to you, it is difficult to see, if the system is working or not.
Maybe I didn't make that clear, but I'm pretty sure
Well,
there were patch notes for it.
there
so
there
if I
were.
didn't make that clear enough, I could have made that clearer.
So that's what I think I was hanging on to is I thought you were talking about getting 3 cloaks in a row, that system is broken. Regardless of the power level, you don't want to get 3 cloaks in a row. That doesn't feel good. And that's the part I latched on to going like, well, that doesn't mean it's broken.
If I got 3 cloaks in a row, but they were +1 power, I would be more apt to be okay with it.
And even to me, like even hearing you say that, I think that was the issue. The power level, I was not thinking about it because I understand that it's broken within the context of literally not functioning correctly. But is the system as it is now, does it feel broken if you potentially get the same item every single time and it doesn't really advance your light, even if it is 1? Because that's what people were saying in the comment section.
Before the show, you were talking about, does it feel good? And I would say, no, it does not feel good to get cloaks repeatedly,
Right.
especially when the community, whether right or wrong, has been sort of trained to think that it's a weighted system, and it doesn't feel that way right now.
Absolutely. And so, Steven, say your example again, because I understood what you were saying, and everybody's making fun of it. Oh, I understand. Say it again so that I can talk about it, and then you can reply, because it is there's some good ideas in there, but does that change the system overall?
No. So I am an advocate for RNG.
Yeah.
I've never said last episode I didn't want RNG.
Yeah.
My proposal was, whenever you get a prime engram, there should be 2 different prime engrams. One where you just get a random drop of anything, which is a 1 out of 8th chance.
Yeah.
Because there's 8 slots that you can get. Or there should be a prime engram where you can go to the Cryptarch, ask for either a weapon or an armor piece.
Yeah.
Why the system is good is if you're leveling up and you need an armor piece, you don't have to worry about getting armor. So theoretically, you have a 1 out of 5 chance.
You don't need to
or
worry
a 1
about
out
getting
of
a weapon.
or-
Yeah.
Yes. So theoretically, your odds are better.
Absolutely.
Now I understand if, even though your odds are better and you still don't get the thing you need, that is frustrating. But RNG is always frustrating.
Always.
People go to the casino and play the highest odds game, but they don't win, which is still frustrating. That's fine. That's RNG. I never said that was a bad thing. However, the system that I just proposed, the reason why I like that is once you do get to the end game and you are max power light and you're no longer looking for infusion fodder and you just want to grind rolls on armor or weapons, this system lets you devote and focus your grind just on that.
Absolutely. So I agree with everything you just said. I do.
Okay.
I agree with everything you just said.
Wait,
We're finished.
Until next time.
So then where we went back and forth.
Wait. Would you agree that it was broken last week because it was in the patch notes that they fixed it?
Yes, I would agree that the system was broken.
No. The
Yes.
system's not broken. The drops were broken.
Well, he's
Right, and-
the actual bug. He's agreeing about that fact.
Yes.
That
Yes,
there was
yes.
a bug that was broken.
And so I did this poll too of saying, hey, is RNG good or bad in the game? Yes or no, in the context of the power climb. And I did that to bait people into making a decision, yes or no. Because the answer is you can't answer that question without context. And I like the fact that you actually said you didn't answer it. So there were.
I wouldn't vote for it.
No, it's great.
This is bait.
It is bait. And I feel like you were doing that a little bit to me, but it was a miscommunication last episode.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I'm not advocating for a broken system. But with the system functioning, quote, quote, as intended, does that still feel good? And I think to answer both your guys' questions is the answer is no. The current system working as intended doesn't feel good. And to your point, Steven,
Because it's an RNG system.
and that's what I was trying to say is it's an RNG system. Now, does that make it better if you could pick a weapon or an armor? Absolutely, it makes it better. But if you needed a primary and you got, say if you needed primary weapon and you got 10 edge transits.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good.
I was
Too
shut
close
off
to
the
home.
game
That's
for
too
a
close
week.
to home.
Exactly. With your odds. So you went from 1 in 4 odds. Now you went from 1 in 8 odds to now 1 in 4 weapon odds.
1 in 3.
Or 1 in 3, yeah. Now you're trying to tell me you wouldn't be frustrated if you got edge transit every time
Okay, so
versus
this
the
is
primary?
this is the
and
part
and
that-
that's where we were.
This is the part that frustrates me.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I wouldn't be frustrated.
Yeah.
I'm saying that's a better system in my opinion.
You're right.
And RNG is always going to be frustrating when you don't get the thing you need, but I would rather have that system. That's all I'm saying.
I agree.
And I'm not saying I would not be frustrated.
But that's my point. I was actually hearing you going, I'm frustrated. And that's when I made the time reference when you said, 30 engrams over time. I was like, yeah, but if you just get the same one, to me, you're always going to feel like it's broken.
I like the RNG frustration. That's RNG.
Okay.
That's RNG.
I feel like you have to understand some of what I was saying last week was that. Like, that's what I was saying. And so that's the confusing part.
No, it's not confusing at all.
No, so we won't dive too into it.
I
My
don't
point
think it's
is,
confusing at all.
yeah, no. Let's talk about the solution because I think there is a solution to potentially pull RNG. The reason why I don't like that solution entirely. I think it's better than what we have now. Absolutely. It does not fix.
Your solution is after every 20 engrams, you get a drop on your lowest.
Yeah. So
slot.
I was saying this. Let's do this.
Okay.
Let's say that the way Ikora is right now. She's just tracking 20 bounties that you do.
Yes.
You don't need to pick it up. You don't need to do anything.
Yes.
What if the Cryptarch had every time you got a prime engram, he just was keeping track. And then after 20 prime engrams, or whatever the number is that makes the most sense, the system would analyze what you had.
You know who does
inventory.
exactly what you're talking about?
Who?
Iron Banner. You do 10 engrams, you literally get to pick the slot where you get your next drop. Well, or you do X thing.
Yeah.
You get to pick which weapon or which thing you get.
Yes.
And it knocks it out. And you're like, thank God, I finally got the pulse rifle that I wanted.
Yeah, but knockout system within the context of the overall legendary, I don't think can work like that. They're trying to do it with exotics. I don't think you can do that, or you'd never get some of the legendaries again, though.
It works with the faded engrams. If you're doing the old stuff,
Right.
I literally used that system to get all the exotics at the time. So there are systems in the game that work really well.
But because random rolls are a part of legendaries, that I don't think would work. So all I'm saying is, I think that even with lower odds, you'd still be frustrated. I think the system would be better if a part of RNG was taken out in certain elements to help you advance. And when I look back at all the comments from people, I was not defending the casual. I said that, and that was a mistake. I was trying to articulate that I am playing casually. Whether or not I'm defending the casual or a hardcore or whatever, that's irrelevant. I think a system that you potentially have a path to get your lowest item, if it's doing this strike, playing this certain part in PvP, if it's like, hey, I did this and I got a primary engram, I did this and I got a middle piece, or like you slot. The issue I understood from your frustration is the slot. So
There were bounties in D1 where you could get specific slots.
Yes.
I think there just needs to be more avenues. If you really get, literally I had 12 drops and didn't get boots, and that's all I needed. And I'm
Right.
just like, when it goes on that long and I don't get the boot drop and I get it, I don't care anymore.
It's
I no longer
frustrating.
have a reaction.
But that's the
positive
system
either way.
And that's the system working, though. That's the thing that's scary, right?
I don't think this. I think something serious. I think something changed with the system. It doesn't feel right.
But-
and I can only talk about feeling. I don't have actual data or anything. Something seems off with this expansion.
Right. But that's my point. When you don't know exactly how the system's working, and in this case it was bugged within the context of Powerlight, you're never going to know. I love Brian's logo. That's awesome. He did it so well last time. You're never going to know when it's not broken.
Yeah.
So I do think there should be a better system in place to allow you to advance your power level within the context of each of those slots. And I think that Cryptarch giving you the lowest item, assessing your inventory, so it just drops when you've completed 20 power engrams, would be a solution. I think it's
fine.
a solution.
I like the
that-
Iron Banner solution with the items. Like he has a rotating list of things that you need.
Yeah.
If you don't get that during the game after you turn in 100 tokens, all right, dude, just buy it.
Yeah.
You can just have the one I have today. I like that system a lot.
Yeah.
Because then I'm like, all right, well, I didn't get the drop I needed, but I can still buy this thing. Oh, I did get the drop I needed. Well, I can get the other thing that I didn't need. Cool. I finished my collection or whatever.
Yeah, it's pretty.
There's not enough strategies for leveling like there was in Destiny 1.
There's not. And I think that when I was reading the people's comments, and again, I replied to a lot of the people's comments, pro or hate, like negative or positive against me. That's irrelevant. I don't care. I've been married for 17 years. I have these arguments all the time. I'm saying like those are legitimate things that I think people are actually frustrated with in Destiny, you included. And some of it is exacerbated by speed and needing to feel like you need to do it for reviews or whatever else.
Now that I've gotten it, I don't care about my power level anymore.
But that's another conversation. Does Bungie want you to care about power level? I think they do. And when it's too difficult for you to do it,
There's no reason to be 700 at all.
and that roll
in
the reckoning,
any respect.
right? The reckoning. And
No, that was
they're-
680. So after you're 680,
Well,
who cares?
it's 690, I think, but you can get in at 680.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
But being 700 just makes you feel
yeah,
like
but
more
that's the
effective.
reason they're trying to incentivize people to do that. And some of the pros and cons of matchmaking. Clearly, we want a matchmaking.
Yeah.
That those power engrams and all that stuff that's a different. There's a bunch of problems I think that can arise in those situations.
There's
So-
more we could talk about with just general systems in the game and how they can improve. But I think we've been going like an hour and 15 minutes or something. So
Yeah.
we
I don't
should
even know.
probably get out of here. Is
Something
the
like that.
camera still going?
Hopefully.
Yes.
Okay. We got to wrap it up because I think we're nearing the end of our tape life.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us today. Thank you, CJ,
Yeah.
for bringing up your point again.
And thanks for all the comments,
For
dude.
your lore,
Yeah.
Ryan, for sitting there. C-Team Malkowitz.
C-Team Malkowitz.
Aw.
Appreciate all the comments. Regardless, the fact that people engage in the comment section, I think is pretty awesome. So
Yeah.
I'm always there to reply.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it for this episode, everybody. Until next time, Guardians out.